Good morning and a happy almost New Year to the North Star family. Well, we welcome everyone from all three campuses, from Loveland and Westchester and from Mainville. We hope you had a great Christmas, and we're glad you're joining us for this quick message. If you are new or looking to get connected here at North Star, I encourage you to head to the link below on the bottom of your screen. There's a spot where you can learn about who we are as a family. You can see how to get connected at North Star, as well as how to financially give if you feel led. As you know, that your generosity coming in helps us to fulfill our mission to go to the missing, to love the marginalized, and live as God's kids. Before we start into our message, I would just love to note three things. First, with the change of the new year, maybe your schedule might shift, even week to week. We wanted to encourage and welcome anyone to come and try out our 5 p.m. service. We will continue to have these services, so you're always welcome and invited to come. Next, I just want to say thank you and well done to those of you who participated in the North Star Scripture Reading Plan. This past year, we read through Old Testament and New Testament, learning about God's character and His plan for us and what His people cyclically did. So if you were able to participate in that, we just wanted to say thank you. If you wanted to continue that rhythm or even cultivate a new rhythm of regular time with God, we encourage you to pick up a North Star journal next time you're in the building. Those are yours to keep. In there you will find one chapter of the Old Testament, one chapter of the New Testament daily in a reading. And then we have a daily prompt as well to help to cultivate us to become more like Jesus. And finally, I just wanted to encourage you in this new year of 2026 to get into the regular rhythm of community. If you are not already in Christian community, we would love to invite you into a Pathway group. At North Star, we have Pathway groups for men and for women, for couples, for empty nesters, for young adults, and anywhere in between. But we would love to have you join into a group to see faith and life overlap, and for us to have a safe and healthy place to grow again in our discipleship to Jesus. That's all I have for you. Just wanted to say again, welcome and Happy New Year. Enjoy the rest of the message.
Here's the problem we're looking at today, is we all have hearts calibrated for a world that we no longer live in. Adam and Eve, when they were born into a beautiful garden. There was potential, there was connection, there was beauty everywhere around them. But you and I, we've been born into a world of brokenness that looks a little bit more like this. Maybe you can see the potential of what once was, but we're now all homesick for a world that we no longer live in. And one of the ways that we experience that brokenness is through the emotion of loneliness. And I've been through some hard seasons in my life, but there's not much that can top the broken feeling of loneliness. Because if you have to endure the hardship of life alone, that just feels overwhelming, and that feels unfair. And we feel loneliness not only in our emotions, but we actually feel it in our bodies as well. Studies show that loneliness, social isolation, it takes a toll on our bodies. We're 29% more likely to have heart disease, 32% more likely to have a stroke. And if you're consistently isolated from other people, it's the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. People used to kind of joke that sitting is the new smoking, that being too still and sedentary is the new smoking, but now the argument is loneliness is the new smoking. It is an epidemic. Sociologists and psychologists and people that study other people, they've been sounding the alarm on the loneliness epidemic even before COVID happened. They were noticing that our culture is becoming more individualistic, more isolated, more self-sufficient, not needing other people. And then of course COVID did happen, and all of our social constructs and networks and rhythms of life were blown up. And then when we've built them back, it's not been built back to the same way it was before. And so now, studies show that 1 out of every 3 Americans feel often or always lonely. Now, it's one thing to feel loneliness every now and then, but to live in that place that's not how God made us to be, right? God made us for connection and beauty. What we're not made to be is Rambos. We're not made to be lone wolves. That might be a good movie concept of doing life on our own, but that's not how God has wired us. And this is just how I picture it in my head, but if God gave us two choices in life, to either, one, live in a mansion that had all of the beautiful amenities, you had the hot tub and the pool and all the books and the entertainment and the food you want, but you had to live completely isolated. The other option he gave us was to live in the Stone Ages, no electricity, and you lived in a hut in the middle of nowhere with a tribe. You had your basic needs met, but you were rough in it, right? Here's what I guarantee, is all of us might start off in that mansion and maybe we make it for a couple of weeks, but we're all gonna end up in that tribe of people, even if it means no electricity, because that's what our souls long for. That's what we were made for. We were made to be on mission. We were made to have purpose and live for a purpose. And here's the deal. When we're isolated, when we're lonely, we can't build the church. We can't further the kingdom. You can't serve other people if you don't have any people to serve. And I know this is really oversimplified, but at the end of the day, you and I are a lot like border collie herding dogs. Those dogs need a job. They need something to do. If they don't have something to do, they'll tear up your furniture and destroy your house. And you and I really aren't that different. We were made for purpose to do stuff and to do it in community. And so now, loneliness is often the norm, but it's just not working.
Scripture brings this problem of loneliness and division to light. From creation, God has shown us his communal life and his design for us. In Genesis 1:26, God says, "Let us make man in our own image." You might notice the plural words us and our. And while they don't necessarily show us the Trinity in detail, they do give us a glimpse of God the Father, the Son, and the Spirit working together in community. And since we are made in the image of God, we are hardwired for community. Then, even at the beginning, in Genesis 1:2, we see that the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. God was moving, active, and engaged, not solitary and distant, but in active relationship with his creation. Then, when God makes man, we really see his design for community. When God sees Adam, he says, "It is not good that the man should be alone." In all of creation, this was the first thing labeled not good. Lights, good. Land, good. Animals, good. Humanity in isolation, not good. Community is not optional. It is essential to human flourishing. Then we see the story shift as sin enters. As sin enters, relationships unravel. Adam and Eve cover themselves and hide from God. Cain kills Abel in chapter 4, and then humanity breaks into tribes and rivalries. At Babel, we see that language and pride scatter people. Division, isolation, and mistrust become the marks of the fallen world. But God didn't abandon his plan for community. His story always points to a reconciled people. In Revelation 7:9-10, God shows John a vision of his future plan. John sees a multitude of people united, every nation, tribe, people, and language reconciled as one under the throne of God. God's goal was never isolated people in heaven, but it was families reconciled, a people made one through Christ, dwelling in the presence of God. Community isn't a side project or a tactic. It is the heartbeat of God. And I feel his heartbeat so closely right now. My mom passed away recently, and I yearn with God for his vision of a people brought together in his presence in the end. From creation through the fracture of sin to God's final vision, God has always been building a people, not just saving isolated persons.
Here's the thing. We were not made to do this faith journey alone. And somewhere along the way, our culture decided that our faith should be private. that we should do everything alone and in solitude and isolation. We read devotions alone, we listen to sermons alone, and we think that in that loneliness, somehow we'll grow. But it doesn't work that way. And more importantly, it's not the way Jesus did it. Jesus' experience was all about community. He gathered his disciples around him and they talked and they laughed and they told stories and they asked great questions. And that is how we grow in community. Messy, uncomfortable, but full of life. And that's what we want at North Star. We want to be about that kind of faith journey, one that's centered in community. And here's some studies that back up why we think this is so important. Barna came out with some data that said that Christians that don't participate in connected faith journeys, they're not doing anything in community, they don't tend to grow, and they definitely don't spend time with God on a regular basis. But it's not about our spiritual journey alone. Harvard has even come out with research that says that those who are plugged into Christian community have a lower rate of depression and less suicide risk. This is not just about our spiritual health. It's about our physical health, our emotional health, and our relational health as well. At North Star, we want to build embedded Christian community in our faith journeys, and we do that through pathway groups. Our pathway groups are simply just safe groups of people that are gathered together to talk about what we're dealing with, to step into conversations that maybe we wouldn't have otherwise. Ask great questions about the scriptures that we're reading together. Bring up topics and challenge each other. Step into practices of what it looks like to follow Jesus and then discuss together how they're going. It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly profound. And so the invitation for you this year, as we step into this new year, is don't make your faith a private thing. Get into community. We want to encourage you to take the opportunity at the beginning of this year to step into a pathway group. And we're only talking about 6 meetings. We're going to meet every other week for the next 12 weeks. And the meetings will last somewhere between an hour to an hour and a half. And it'll give us all opportunities to bring questions of the things we're confused about, the parts of the scriptures that jumped out at us and amazed us, to just dive into the shared experience of walking with Jesus together. This is what it looks like to do this in community. This is what it looks like to do it the way Jesus does it. So pick up a Pathway Journal in the lobby and sign up for your Pathway group. You can do that on the QR code or through the link below. But we want to make sure that we connect everyone into deep, embedded Christian community so we grow together. Trying to do this in isolation is death, but we find life in community.